What is my list?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here with part 2 for In the Studio, episode number 4. We're talking all things TI4 here, and Valve did finally announce how things are going to come down. Like I said in the end of the previous segment, there will be 11 teams directly invited. There will be 4 regional qualifiers that will take place between May 12th and May 25th, and the winner of each qualifier will receive an invitation with the 4 runner-ups competing in Seattle for that final 16th slot. Tickets already went on sale. It will be 4 days in the Key Arena, which is bigger than I ever imagined. That's ridiculous. The Key Arena is serious big. And TI, apparently they sold 10,000 tickets within their first hour. And TI4 is now sold out, boys. So hope you all got your tickets.
I didn't buy one.
I didn't buy one
I
either. Hopefully I'll get invited because I don't have a ticket.
Gaben's got me.
Yeah, I hope so. So
I went to Valve and
yeah.
and I ran into Gaben. He came coming down the elevator, leaving the offices, and he said he noticed me and he looked at me and he said, "I watch your casting a lot." Oh no, that wasn't it. It was actually
Okay.
I listened to you a lot.
I listen to you a lot.
He said I listened to you a lot, and I was like, "Wow, Gaben listens to me." But coming from anyone else, that'd be the creepiest thing ever. Yeah, you jelly?
I mean, I'm pretty jelly. That's one of my lifelong dreams to get even have a conversation with Gabe, and let alone get a compliment about him listening to me.
Well, that's like a Gabe compliment.
Yeah, that is a I listen to you. You're worthy of his time.
Anyway,
well done, LB.
I'm sure I can get you a ticket, Jimmy. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got you.
Got your back.
VIP.
Yeah.
So, first up, what do you guys think about the format? 11 invites, 4 qualifiers, and then the runner-ups will fight it out for that last spot. Overall impressions? Like it, hate
I
it?
like it a lot, except for I'm not sure if there should be 4 regions. That's the thing I'm most questionable about, because some regions are going to be easier than others.
Okay, so what are we thinking the 4 regions will be? North America, America, North/South America, Europe, China.
It was already announced, I believe, in the On Gamers article. Yeah, they
Korea?
said it's going to be North America, Europe, China, and Southeast Asia/Korea.
Okay, so Korea will be with Southeast Asia. Okay, you think that's a bad region split?
Oh, I was about to
how else
sneeze,
would you
sorry.
know?
I think maybe like 12 invites and 3, maybe? I don't know. It just seems like
So which region are you not giving a qualifier?
I'm not sure. It just seems like America is super easy compared, and Southeast Asia, Korea is pretty easy, and then China and Europe are hard. So
They probably just want 2 American representatives and giving South America a chance to.
I suppose so.
I don't necessarily agree with that. Like, sure, if you take all the teams from each region and nobody is invited, they're really hard. But from China, I mean, you're what? You're probably removing DK, you're removing IG, probably Vici Gaming, and then either Newbie or LGD. I'd say at least 4 teams from China should get invited. So what's left? Like Newbie or LGD maybe is like the probably. I would say if it was today, I would say LGD doesn't. They've been the least impressive. So I'd say LGD goes through the qualifiers, and then who else is there in China? There's like DT, CIS, Orenda, Parts get together.
HGT, yeah.
Basically, none of these are like teams that you expect to make a big run at TI.
Like a
So
tier
I'm not
one
sure if
team.
Newbie will get it. I guess one of Newbie or LGD will probably get
the
it.
way I
not
see
sure.
it,
5
like,
Chinese
probably
invites?
4 Chinese teams get invited.
That means you just named 5, right? You just listed 5.
Well, I named 5, and I'm saying probably either LGD or Newbie goes through the qualifiers.
Okay.
For Europe, similarly, Navi's obviously going to get invited. Alliance is going to get invited. Empire's playing really strong. I'd be shocked if they don't get invited.
Fnatic.
Then you probably invite like at least 1 or 2 more. Fnatic near the top of the
You
list.
give C9 too.
And
Cloud9.
Cloud9, arguably North America/Europe. But either way, it doesn't matter. If they're not in the qualifiers, then who's actually left? You've got still strong teams like Sigma, Virtus Pro, perhaps
Sigma
Rockstiff.
These are much stronger than the top tier teams of Southeast Asia and Korea, though. I think personally.
Well, you've got Titan, who's doing pretty well in WPC. They went ultra late against DK and IG in 4 games today.
How's Orange?
DK was using stand-ins, but they beat IG in 1 game. So
They
Titan
didn't have
looks pretty
Chuan,
good.
though. There was a stand-in for Chuan. It was San Shen.
Maybe they get invited. And then I guess for SEA, kind of the problem is like there's no clear standout teams. You've got everyone beating each other.
I'd say Titan, right? Titan would get the.
Well, Titan hasn't. They've been losing to other SEA teams.
Yeah, but they're the strongest C team out there. I mean, then there's who else is there? Orange, Minetsky.
There's Orange, there's Arrow, RRQ, Minetsky, who's looked pretty questionable.
Yeah, but if you
lately.
think about C, you're just gonna think about Titan for the most part, don't
Yeah.
you?
Well, because
And
of
they have-
previous accomplishments. But what I'm saying is, like, when other C teams have played Titan, more often than not, they've won. Like, Titan doesn't have a great record against SEA teams. And you've got Scythe Gaming with Miracle, who's consistently beating them. So,
Yeah.
what do you do at that point? Like, I would argue that I think SEA is not as bad as what people think. It's more just there's no clear top teams. I'm not saying anyone from SEA is better than like DK, IG, Navi, or
What
maybe
about
Alliance,
America
but
then?
Yeah.
I think America is actually the biggest question mark because you're probably going to see at least one of EG or Liquid get invited, and based on recent results, it's probably EG.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you argue Cloud9's a North American team, they probably get invited as well, based on recent results. So who's left at that point? You've got Liquid,
Revenge,
Snob +4, Revenge,
eHug.
and eHug.
There's
And then who are the other four
CN
teams?
Osiris.
CNB, Osiris. Then
That America qualifier is going to be interesting. There could be a real serious underdog making it through that qualifier.
smash the TI4, guys.
Now that would be exciting. I would like to see Revenge make it. That
Me
would
too.
be fun.
Hell yeah,
So,
dude. Me
be
too.
fun.
I mean, to go back to, I guess, the initial question of the format, like you're saying maybe one of the qualifiers should be gone. Who gets the X?
I'm not sure. I just don't think all the qualifiers teams are going to be of equal tier. Like, I don't know. I'm just
Well,
hating.
by that argument, you could probably host a TI that has like 13 or 14 European and Chinese teams.
yeah.
You have like maybe EG and
I think
Cloud9.
it's their job to get the best teams in the world, not equally represent each region, though.
Oh, I'm not saying there should be charity, but I
think there's
that
a balance.
the
that
other
needs
thing to
find.
consider is that regions don't play each other that much. So you might think they look stronger,
right.
but then you have a team like Orange that did not look that strong going into TI and finishes top 3, almost finished top 2, arguably could have even given Alliance a run for their
That's
money.
true.
But
That's a good point.
I think you've got to like
Yeah.
balance.
C?
You just kind of have to
Are you
balance.
talking
it, really.
SEA or
Yeah.
C?
C, no, C, like orange. It could
C,
be.
C.
It could be Smash,
Maybe.
top
Yeah.
3.
Could be Smash.
I mean, they call it the international for a
Revenge.
reason. There needs to be some international
Yeah,
representation.
they
But
call it the that's a good point.
But like LD said,
true.
that doesn't mean it has to be a charity. You can still have, like 80% top teams and then have a little bit of a spread out there. And every so often, everybody loves a good underdog story. I mean, come on.
I mean, the way that I look at it is the qualifiers are your chance for like everyone to have a shot
Mhm.
because anyone can at least make a case throughout the year they deserve to be invited to the qualifiers.
Yeah, but
I don't think you're required to invite anyone directly to the main event. You don't have to invite any SEA teams. You don't have to invite any North American teams if they're not qualified. Like the invite should purely be based on merit and how you expect them to do at the event, how strong they look, team history, stuff like that. But the qualifiers are the way to. Otherwise, how are you going to grow the game in other regions? If SEA doesn't even get a shot, it's a little bit harder to.
But I mean,
Get-
if they get a shot, so what? TI3, there were like no upsets, and the teams that made it through the qualifiers didn't get anywhere.
I mean, if you're Valve, you're trying to grow the game. You don't think people are going to be more excited, interested in playing Dota if you've got a representative at TI?
I'm not sure. I'm just looking at the best teams, and I don't think the qualifying teams will have a chance at making it far in the tournament. So I'm not saying it's a waste of time. I'm just like not terribly excited about the qualifiers because I know even if they do make it through, they're
Jeez.
probably not going to make it past first or second round.
Well, it means a lot to the players, man.
Yeah, I'm sure it does, but the players versus
Easy
the
to
viewers.
say. Easy to say as a caster. Also,
Yeah.
I would say.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Shots
Well, I mean,
fired.
you're not on the chopping block, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a spectator too, though. I want good games. I want a exciting tournament.
I think you can have some lesser-known teams and still an exciting tournament.
But you look at North America, look at Liquid. I think Liquid has a huge potential to go in the top 8 at TI4.
Oh,
so.
I definitely think so. But yeah, last year though,
Huge
last year they were like the only one who even upset anyone. Okay.
And then you have EG at TI2, which came really close to it
Yeah.
as well.
Okay. It is nice to have a Cinderella story.
Yeah, you just flip-flopped real easy there. We
It's-
didn't even have to work for
It's
that.
nice, but it's a most of the times I think it's a huge waste
It's sort of
time.
similar to Star Ladder, right? Part of what makes Star Ladder such a great tournament is that you can work your way up as a total nobody,
But it
just
doesn't
five-man
happen.
squad, and you can scoot your
Well,
way to
we're
the top.
Cleveland insane. They're like all at the bottom of they're like bottom the 13 through 16.
But the potential is still there.
who cares about the potential? They don't have any results to back it up. It's a waste of time.
Maybe not this season, but what happens to that one season when someone actually does?
Then they
work
can
their
move
way
up through the relegation. Like, let's say they had
Yeah.
12 teams, and then the bottom 4 got out.
So,
then maybe they can
I'm just
sneak
saying
in.
it's cool that mechanism is there, and you can't have that mechanism without having a giant group stage with some teams that'll end up in the dumpster tier. It's inevitable. When you have an A tier, B tier, and C tier teams all in the same group, some teams are going to look.
I thought it was the dumpster tier. Why is it the C tier now?
dumpster
Let's not sugarcoat it.
Well, okay, there's
Come on,
some
Andrew.
bottom tiers there, but still, I mean, you have to have to. At some point, you can't just say like, "Oh, we want only the A-listers here. We just want to have the top 4 teams." I mean, I
Not
don't
top 4. I think like 12 is okay.
12, but
12 makes
not
it-
16.
16. I mean, even for Starlighter, I'm like, well, do I really want to watch Cleve play insane or something? I don't even know if they're the same team because they change the names so often.
That I will agree on. The name changing is a little bit frustrating. I have trouble keeping Cleve, Courage, Aware, and Ahead. There's I think of those 4 names that represents 2 teams, and
It's
I don't-
international. It's supposed to be the best teams in the world. In Star Lottery, you have like Navi and Lions, and then like
I'm not saying we need
much
to
more excited
invite
to watch
Cleve.
that.
I'm just saying that having some underdogs isn't a bad thing.
Look at MLG. Speed Gaming was definitely not considered a strong contender going into that event.
Look at
This is
Sigma.
true. But that was
Yeah.
only 8 teams, right?
9.
It was 10.
9.
10,
I believe.
Okay.
Was
Well,
it
it's,
eight?
it's not 16.
It was
I think
9.
It was,
It was 9 teams.
You're right.
But
It was going to be 10.
I think like anything like
Voodoo.
16 is a little bit too much. 12 I think is like my ideal number personally.
Well, I mean, maybe from a purely practical standpoint, having like a multiple 4 is just
Yeah.
easier to do the brackets.
I definitely
for.
agree.
Why 12? Why is that your magic number?
Just
That's
because I think 16 is too many and 10 is almost too low. It's just
Okay.
it just seems like
that's just like the for how many good teams
Yeah.
there are right now.
Gotta
12
throw in
is
some
just like-
underdogs in there, dude.
I guess.
Like LD was saying, Cinderella story. Those are the best.
Yeah, come on, man.
Yeah, like Team Liquid
Fair.
maybe.
Ben's a no-nonsense kind of guy. He just wants the best. He wants a quick single limb, get in there, get it done, and then get out.
Get
Go
in that
home.
ass. Just
Yeah.
Get in that ass.
What? Where did this come
You've
from?
never seen Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I'm not.
Get in that ass, Ben.
You got to step up your ass game.
Can we just play
Commissioner.
that clip right now? No, let's not do that.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so we've debated the format a little bit. But
Yeah.
The format kind of is what it is. So
Mhm.
I want to see who's gonna like. Can we make a list right now of like who we actually think is gonna get in?
Okay, so teams that we think will definitely get invited. DK, IG. I think those are obvious. You want to take some notes here, LD? Do you want to?
I have a notepad.
You have notepad? All right. Commissioner, you can take some notes.
DKIG.
DKIG, those are the obvious ones from China. Probably at least one other Chinese invite. Would you say Vici would be the third?
Well, let's
Oh.
just do the obvious, and then we can
Okay,
do like
the obvious.
the-
So,
Okay.
okay,
That's
then you've got
obvious.
your Navi Alliance.
Yes.
Pretty obvious. I think Empire, would they count as an obvious invite at this point?
Where are their land results? I mean, I think they'll get invited, but
I think so.
like, where are their actual land results?
I mean, that's
I mean,
that's a
VP
far-
got,
are-
VP got straight invited last year, and I would say they're like Empire's much better now comparatively than VP was last year.
Okay, you also have like a team like Newbie. 4 players from Tongfu. Tongfu finished really well at TI,
Mhm.
and arguably would have gone deep if it wasn't for like shenanigans. The freaking fountain hook, lose the gyro with
Shenanigans.
Aegis, dies twice in the enemy well. Like
Mhm.
that is the flukiest thing ever. So
Yeah.
you could argue Tongfu is a strong team, but they maybe haven't been doing quite as well recently. But how much should your past performance matter
Mhm.
versus just recent online results? So.
So we
Okay,
have
let's
4
just say
seeds.
Empire's on the list though, because I
Okay.
think they're doing
I would
so
say-
well. They
I'll
won't
give
get
Fnatic
There's
one.
no way they don't.
I'd
get
give
invited.
Fnatic.
You would give Fnatic
Really?
an invite? You think
I
so?
don't-
They've been.
I think it's question. I don't think they're obvious. I think it's they might get. They're probably getting invited, but it's not obvious. Obvious is they're not like guaranteed like Navi or Alliance.
Okay.
I would also say EG to me is like a virtual lock. They 2-0'd Empire. They've been crushing everyone. You probably have to invite at least one North American team.
Yeah, but the thing
I
about
agree.
that is just they're the ones with the roster change, and Liquid only changed 1 player as well. And you know how much Valve cares about stability. So that I'm just balance that out.
I mean,
But I mean,
I think
EG does have
They
results.
care about roster stability once they invite you. Like LGD changed their roster after they got invited through the qualifiers. But if you change your roster a few months in advance, I think they more at that point
Mhm.
care
I think
about
they're okay.
performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say EG's a
I'd give
obvious.
TG
So
too.
So how about Cloud9?
Cloud9.
Cloud9.
I'd say is obvious.
MLG champions minus 1 very important player, I guess.
Second place, do 2L.
So how many does that bring us to,
Not
LD?
D2L.
Is that 6?
That's
If you
seven.
is Vici
Monster.
obvious or not? I would say Vici
Vici had
is.
really they did
Vici has good
they won
odds.
EMS. Their
Yeah.
roster hasn't changed since then. They've looked a little bit weaker recently in Asia, but they
Oh.
have not played that much yet in WPC.
Well, the thing is, how much you consider like February through April results as opposed to September through January? Because September to January is much longer of a span of time, and Vici was really strong during that.
I'll give it to Vici
Yeah.
because there's not that many like what else is there? Like
Yeah,
there's
who's better
LGD
than
and Newbie, and you're gonna get at least 4 invites for China.
the argument for Vici is the same argument for Fnatic. Like end of last year, they looked really strong. Fnatic finished second in
Yeah,
like,
but
almost every event.
I'm also putting into consideration the fact that how many Chinese teams are there, and there's gonna be at least 4 invites, right? Or 3.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how
I'm
much
try-
Valve cares about that. I'm not sure. But
Well, in terms of top teams, I mean, you're gonna get a lot of as much China. As
So
you can.
Vici, yes. Fnatic, yes. Or
Fnatic. No, I'd lean towards Vici a lot more than Fnatic.
Okay. So Vici is obvious, and Fnatic is not obvious.
Not obvious,
Okay.
but yeah.
I'm copying off.
Okay.
of
So
this.
we have
I was
8
kinda-
teams in the obvious category.
Okay.
Now there's a
Um,
total of 11 invites and then
Mhm.
qualifiers.
So who are our lingering teams? Like we've got
Fnatic,
Liquid. Okay.
Fnatic, LGD, Newbie. I would say Rock's Kiss is kind of up there. Liquid,
Yeah.
Sigma.
You also have Scythe.
Sigma.
Titans,
That's the other one.
Scythe.
Scythe and Titan.
I forget about the C teams. Scythe,
Titan probably the stronger candidate because of previous TI performance, but
Mhm.
Is Mineski still around?
they've had a lot of roster
I guess
changes.
Newbie probably will be.
I think Mineski will get invited to the qualifiers, but I don't see
Okay.
them getting invited to TI.
Right.
This is pretty tough to narrow these
Yeah,
not obvious.
The
down to
last
3.
few they're not obvious. I don't know.
I don't think you put any Korean teams on that list.
No way.
So,
No.
yeah, okay.
Probably
They're going
not.
through qualifiers
No,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm going to look at the Gosu Gamers article here that Ren put together. Great article.
My top 6 out of the remaining not obvious would be Fnatic, LGD, Roxkiss, Newbie, Sigma, Liquid, maybe Titan. I don't know.
Yeah,
What
the,
do you guys think
the
about it?
question is Sigma going to be hanging around? They haven't
Oh,
played the
that's
last few
true.
matches in Star Ladder. I've heard rumors that
Okay,
there may
let's
be
just
some
X Sigma
roster
out then.
changes.
How about Roxkiss? I feel like Roxkiss,
I have
it's on
Roxkiss in
Ben's
there.
list, but I think they're one of the strongest
I think they're really
arguments
strong.
to get in because they've been looking really good recently,
Yeah.
beating strong competition in Europe. Most of those teams who will be invited to TI directly.
And their roster has been pretty
It's really
stable.
stable,
with
right.
And these are
Roxkiss.
a lot of them have gone to like you've got Goblak who's commanded his team at TI before, and
I think I would say Roxkiss will probably get an invite based on the way they've been.
I don't know if they will
recently.
get one, but I think they're like at the top of like
They're,
the
like,
maybes list.
really
Really
close.
close.
They have good odds as
Yeah,
well.
they're right on the cusp.
Do you think anyone should be in this top 6 that I'm excluding? Fnatic, LGD, Roxkiss, Newbie, Sigma, Liquid. I have Titan and Scythe. Is there anyone else that might be in the running?
I would
for
say
not
out
so
of
obvious?
Titan and Scythe, I'd probably only put Titan.
Okay. So,
Scythe has beaten other SEA competition. They have not proven themselves against Chinese teams, and they don't have the track record.
so does Titan belong in the 6 or not?
6 is
I personally don't think so.
In the list of like teams that are on the short list,
Of
basically.
obvious? No, I don't
Of
think
not
Titans-
obvious.
Oh, non-obvious.
The not obvious that will probably get invited.
I think Titan will get it.
You think Titan will get it?
Yeah, because
Okay.
they're gonna want at least one invite for a C team, right?
Well, that's the qualifier, though.
Do they?
Huh?
You have a guaranteed C team, unless
Yeah,
you,
you have a
think Korean team's
guaranteed.
gonna qualify.
You have a guaranteed.
Road to
team
TI4
qualify.
for Zephyr.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Jeez.
wow.
So I'm
That would
I'm
be
still not sure
interesting.
out of these 7 though. If you had to choose out of these 7 for 3, who would it be for you guys?
Mm,
Can't see the
That's not
monitor,
fair.
but
so the list is Titan, Fnatic, LGD, Roxkiss, Newbie, Sigma, Liquid. I would say for sure I would put Newbie on that list.
I agree.
I think Newbie is
Newbie's
overall
in
the strongest candidate. Combination of past results. You've got the captain of LGD
there. Mhm.
on that team, as well as the 4 Tong Fu players. So Newbie is very strong candidate for me. And then I'd probably, if pressed, say,
I'd say Fnatic Rocks.
Fnatic.
yeah, I don't know about Titan. I think Titan, because they're doing pretty decently in WPCAs, probably is going to squeak in. Because like if I'm Valve, I'm looking like, okay, how does Titan do against the top teams? They go to WPCAs. They almost took 1 game off of IG. They had 2 really late games against DK, which I don't count as much.
They 2-0'd IG, didn't they?
Did they 2 of them?
I
I only saw the
believe so.
first game and then I
was
had
a
to
little
cast, so.
sleep
Well, you
retarded
cast
by
it.
then.
I assume you know what you're talking
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 2-0
Okay.
in that fight. Yeah.
Then-
oh yeah,
then-
rares were lost. It was a 2080
Rares
bet.
were lost.
Okay.
It was 2080 and the 21.
Well, I think that's fair.
rares were lost.
IG had 1 stand
fair.
in, but that's the majority of IG. So
Yeah.
I would say Titan, Newbie, and then either Fnatic or Roxkiss, and I'm not sure which.
No Liquid.
Roster
don't-
changes, not many recent results, history of
Roster change.
change.
So we'll X out
That's a
Sigma.
big roster
I don't
change.
think anyone's going to bet on Sigma just because no one knows what the heck they're doing.
Yeah,
No
hopefully
one
next
knows
week
any
we'll have some
information about
news on
them.
that.
So I'll take out Sigma, even though they've been traditionally doing pretty well.
Okay.
So,
So-
you were what? Newbie, Titan, and then Roxkiss / Fnatic.
I'm gonna go with the same list with Newbie,
No
Titan,
LGD?
and Fnatic.
LGD has 4 of the players from
Yeah.
LGD last season, but from last year, but they don't have Xiao 8. And you could also argue Titan does not have Mushi. Difference
It's
is
like Liquid without
Titan's
fluff.
actually been doing pretty well on LAN at WPC Ace. I know it's a small sample
You keep
size.
trying to sell Liquid. Get out of here.
LGD has just looked dubious. They also like they replaced Xiao 8 with Maybe, then they replaced him again Maybe, and
Okay.
Yeah.
So you say
LGD
the
has
same
just
thing?
looked very shaky to me.
You say the same thing as LD? Newbie, Titan, and Roxkiss / Fnatic?
No Roxas, but I'd give it over. I'd give
You give
Fnatic.
Fnatic? Okay.
I'd give Fnatic
Yeah.
better odds here.
I would have said Newbie, Roxkiss, Fnatic. I think. I don't know if Titan will make it, but
I would say Newbie, Roxkiss, Fnatic too. I'm with you on that.
yeah,
one.
that would be mine.
So no Liquid. We can kind of exclude LGD and Liquid, even though they're pretty close. They're pretty.
Yeah.
They're up there, but
Okay.
They got to lock down that roster first before we can consider them for
yeah,
an
they
invite.
gotta do sneaking.
They got to do something.
Sign that
Sneaking. So, all right, we're getting towards the tail end of this segment here. Our Lumi interview will be coming up next, but quickly some power rankings. If TI was tomorrow, who would you guys say for your top 3 order of first place, second place, third place? LD, you want to take the
If
helm
it was
here?
tomorrow,
Tomorrow.
Jesus. That's hard.
Jeez, the stumpers here.
top 3. Are these ordered or just like the 3 strongest teams?
Well, if order is too hard, you can give us the 3
Give us an
strongest
order.
teams, but
Okay.
order is preferred.
I would say Jeez, that is really tough. If it was today, DK, EG, and Navi. I would say those are my three.
Who was your first?
DK.
DK.
I said DK, Navi, EG is
Damn.
mine.
Oh, we actually agree on the three?
I think so,
EG,
yeah.
really?
Do you guys agree with that?
And that's in order. You think like DK would be first, Navi would be
That's
second,
mine.
EG would be third.
That's mine. Yeah.
I'd say DK, Navi, and Alliance. I would pick EG, but they would use Fear at TI if it would happen tomorrow,
Mhm.
and he hasn't been playing for quite some time.
Okay, well, let's say like he's back in shape.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, he's in shape from. Oh, then I'd give it to EG then.
Okay, so you would
Otherwise-
put them top three.
Damn, you guys-
Otherwise, it'd be Alliance. I'd choose Alliance.
What about you?
I will definitely agree with DK. That's the one I think they have a really good shot at. They've just been looking good. They were looking good with 3 stand-ins last night.
Nobody put Empire. I just want to point out, even though they've been doing
No.
amazingly well lately online.
I was going to say Navi Empire.
Okay, Navi
I-
Empire, and who would your third be? DK?
A Navi, then Empire. Empire would be my third.
Okay.
But
I think Empire did really well with the coming of the new patch with 6.80, but now that people have figured out the patch, like Empire is just not as novel as before.
yeah,
They lost a lot of the
for
surprise
me,
factor, I
Alliance are
think.
kind of the big wild card because they're the reigning champs here, but
Mhm.
I
They have
don't
had
know.
really poor performances.
They've been looking a little shaky. Yeah, I don't know. I think Navi Alliance. Is it Alliance has the edge online, but Navi always beats them on LAN? Is that
No, Alliance has been beating them on LAN.
Well, I mean,
and
Alliance
Star
won
Ladder?
TI3.
right? But I mean,
Navi has
post
won like
TI3.
every grand finals since then, where they 4 grand finals and they won them all.
and Navi's won.
One of them
all
was
of
the
them.
We Play, which was online. 2 star ladders.
A We Play.
K-pop
and
Tosis is on the job.
He's on the hunt.
Yeah, and Alliance might not even qualify for this star ladder, so
Yeah, it's looking
it's
rocky.
questionable. But I
So,
mean, TI's in what 3 months, a little over
Yeah.
3 months. So you,
power rankings. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
subjective and kind of goofy.
I agree with-
context.
You would
right
have to fail so hard not to get invited as the reigning champs. Like,
yes.
you would have to just be like
That's a good
beyond
point.
dumpster, like toxic.
I think
waste
even
dump
if you
level
were
tier.
dumpster, you as
Yeah,
long as you had the same
Toxic
5.
waste tier,
Yeah, I
that's
think
the
I think
new
I
low.
think you'll get invited no matter what.
Even if you're the same, you have to be the same 5. If you're like, if you lose to everybody, it doesn't matter. If you're rating
You think you
champs.
still get
you can be
invited?
Yeah.
in the dumpster and
You
you'll
can
still
be in the
invited.
dumpster.
Yeah.
You can be showering in the dumpster.
I mean,
Oh, boy.
it's kind of true. Reigning champs, there's just they're the previous world champions.
Yeah.
You can't, you have to invite them.
2 star ladders and We Play, so it was only 3 grand finals, but I mean that's 3 grand finals, right?
Yeah,
and 2 of them on
that's-
LAN.
That's big.
Now, some would argue that Navi have the home court advantage at Star Ladder. Maybe that's not entirely fair.
I mean, what about the online in star ladder too?
Well,
Navi
Navi has
beat
the home court advantage in Seattle, though, right? Like, who gets more cheers than Navi? The American teams. That's it.
Yeah.
So I think that plays somewhat of a role, but not too much. I'd give it like a 5%, 10%. But that might be the difference between these teams to push them over the hump.
Yeah. Well, based on TI3 grand finals, 5 or 10% definitely would have been enough to perhaps alter the outcome.
The other thing that I guess before we wrap up the segment, like, who do we think is going to come out of the qualifiers? And then who actually would be the wildcard teams and, like, who would make it in? So there's 5 more slots.
Mhm.
Just pick your best, like, remaining team from North America, Europe, Asia, or Southeast Asia / Korea, and China. And then, like, the winners of those go into the event, I guess, and then there's the wildcard playoff for the second place teams.
Okay.
America's Liquid.
Liquid.
Yeah, I would say Liquid as
Pretty
well. I'd be
obvious.
shocked.
You
Give
know
it to
what?
Revenge.
I'm gonna go
Revenge
wildcard. I was gonna say revenge.
Revenge will be wildcard.
I think there's a chance. I think there's hope.
So
Revenge.
is
I would
Liquid-
say like 70% Liquid, 30% Revenge if it was
But
today.
any other team that even
E-Hug? Huh? Give us some
Snob
credit,
plus
guys.
4, probably.
E-Hug, no.
E-Hug.
I would
no.
say Snob +4 is a better chance than E-Hug.
Yeah.
Not having even watched them.
I do agree with that actually.
But I mean, qualifiers are coming up like really soon. So is Snob +4 even
Or
going to get
E-Hug.
invited? Because like in
well,
the
who else is gonna like? I think they will just because there's so few teams left to invite.
they
from
didn't
there.
get that. They didn't even play in Star Ladder America qualifiers though.
I don't think that. I don't know.
I mean, I haven't seen them play.
They'll
is
probably
what
have been
I'm
around for a few weeks, and I'd be shocked if Valve
I'm
did.
actually
They-
curious on hosting issue though
They
for
just
America.
played a couple of teams.
Hosting?
Hosting issue, yeah. For
It's not gonna be. I doubt it's gonna be on like the Brazil servers.
yeah, but but I'm just that's what I'm saying. It's just like American qualifiers.
Oh, what about
Brazil.
Dog 2? Dog 2-0 Snob. But I guess Dog is
Dog's-
European now.
Dog's European now.
Yeah, okay.
Fog got
Snob also beat
Why are you
E-Hug.
pointing at your?
What was
Yeah, Snob beat
boot.
E-Hug and
boot?
Revenge.
Oh, that was the
so-
boot you were
okay.
pointing at. Good.
what was I pointing at?
I don't know. You're
I
just
thought
pointing
you were
down.
gonna
There
say
was
the
a.
Boba. you know.
Oh,
So Liquid Revenge
Oh,
and then
this.
Snob +4 and maybe E-Hug. But in that order. Snob +4 and E-Hug.
Okay.
Okay, so that's America.
That's America.
Europe.
Roxkiss or Fnatic if neither of them get
Whichever.
invited.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say they both get invited. Who would be next?
Who else is there?
Who else is there?
Oh,
Sigma?
Team Dog. Team
Dog
Dog.
have a chance. If
Dogs-
Sigma are still around, I would.
There's
have,
VP as well, who's been.
I'd give it to Dog.
Okay.
Yeah, I
regardless.
would actually say Dog if there was no Roxkiss or
Dog,
Fnatic.
Sigma. There's like Next KZ, Power Rangers.
Nah.
No?
I could see
Power
team like
Rangers?
Power Rangers.
Yeah,
They've
I-
looked a little bit weaker recently.
I
but
like Power Rangers, but they're just too inconsistent. They make big plays.
There's
They-
MYM
hey,
as well.
They beat. No,
MYM,
they beat
no.
Navi at least.
Yeah.
There's something in my throat. dude.
So is Dog, Sigma, potentially Power Rangers?
Yeah.
So we think Dog will come out, and then second will be
I think
Sigma. if they're
I
still
think Europe
around.
has like no clear favorite though. I
But
would
like
this is
hard.
this is only if Roxkiss or Fnatic
Both make it.
if
Both
both
gonna
But
make
if
it, yeah.
if neither, then it's
well,
one
even
or
then
the
you still
other.
need a second team from the region who's the wild card
Yeah,
team
from
that goes to
Well, it'll be
TI4
pro-
plays like the play-in tournament.
It'll probably be Dog over. I mean, Roxkiss
Sigma's
or
probably going
Fnatic.
to disband, but
Yeah.
or based on what Jimmy's saying anyway.
I didn't
Yeah.
say anything.
Yeah. Based on what he's
Okay.
constantly coughing about.
SEA/Korea. Titan.
Well, I think this is by far the hardest one because I could
Yeah.
make an argument for Titan, Orange, Scythe, RRQ, Arrow Gaming. Who else is on? Nah, I wouldn't put Execration. on
MVP
it.
Phoenix.
No, I don't think. they'll
I
make
don't-
it.
Well,
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
If
I
there's
think
a
they're gonna
Korean
beat a
team.
team at Star Ladder, but you can't even
Yeah,
consider
no, but that's
them
one.
for
That's
Korea.
one. That's like
It's a BO1.
it's taking a game off.
Yeah. Okay.
But this is going to the finals, and it's gonna be best of threes, best of threes.
Bulba
best of
says
fives.
Zephyr.
Okay.
Bulba is all on board. Zephyr confirmed.
Snip, snip.
Confirmed by Bulba.
snip.
Round two, snip, snip.
I would
boys.
love to see Zephyr at TI, but I think it's a pretty
Why?
small chance. It'd be interesting.
Why
You don't want to see Zephyr there?
purge gamers.
Yeah.
Other
Yeah,
people want to
Purge
see Zephyr,
gamers.
even though you're a hater.
I'm not even a hater, bro.
I guarantee you they'd be in the top 8 in terms of like overall popularity and
the
fan
Blitz
base.
is legit.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
Storm.
Okay. China.
China, I think it's either Newbie or LGD for sure if they don't get invited. I would assume LGD
Mhm.
would be the team left out.
Okay, and none of the big names. I think
After that, there's
Let's just say a newbie. Everyone had newbie in their.
let's
let's
see.
say
invited.
I'm gonna say CIS.
CIS?
CIS has looked really weak recently.
Really? Didn't they take off? The
They had
game?
like the Sina Cup where they were winning a few cute games with the Skeleton Kane and Sniper, but since then they've just looked awful. In China there's Dreamtime, Tong Fu Wenzhou, Arenda,
Oh, yeah, there's Tom-
Hyper. Is it Hyper Gaming Team now? It used to be Hearts Get Together.
HGT.
Hearts get together.
It's something like that. It's hyper.
I love
don't-
that team.
I don't think it's hyper gaming,
There's
but it's
who-
something like that.
Man, I should know this.
There's
There's a
still
few other.
HGT.
Come on, LD.
Yeah.
I should just look at our teams list for the Summit Asia. But
I'm looking.
who else?
Hyper Glory
That's
team.
such a
it.
good name. Hyper Glory Team.
They need to be sponsored by HyperX, man.
Yeah. Well, I think HyperX is probably all tapped out. They're sponsoring like,
Dark
everyone.
Passage Esports Club.
Mm,
Who is?
nah.
Who?
I don't think the rankings are the best.
What
way.
kind of a team?
I don't know.
The Dark Passage.
I think Dreamtime's the best chance after those two.
Yeah.
LGD CIS Dreamtime.
Dreamtime is a lot of the former Rising Stars players, but they've looked pretty good recently. So.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we are going to continue this segment later on. This is going to be one of those recurring segments as more news comes out for TI, qualifiers come out. We know who some of the invites are. We'll be continuing to do our power rankings, talk about the format, and have all things TI4. But is there anything further? Is it time to move on to part 3?
No, we got someone on the line after this break. So
Yeah, this
Rumi.
is exciting. We've got
Luminous.
Luminem.
Luminous Inverse, Luminem. It's going to be interesting, guys. So we'll have a short break. Don't go anywhere. Luminous coming up next.
Peace.